Hi everyone, this is your video on strong and weak acids and bases. Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward video, pretty short. So just a review. Arrhenius acids and bases are what we talk about in this class, and those are substances that, when added to water, an Arrhenius acid produces this guy right here, an H plus ion. Okay, and Arrhenius bases produce this one right here, an OH minus ion. Okay, so we have hydrogen ions for our acids and hydroxide or OH minus ions for our bases. Okay, and so that is how we define those two substances. An acid produces H in water, and a base produces OH in water. Okay, and so we have this term that we're going to use in here called strong acids and weak acids. Okay. So a strong acid is what, right? And a weak acid is what? So let's take a look at the beakers down here. And hopefully you can see. I'm going to try to move my face out of the way. Okay, so you can see these beakers right here. And I want you to take a second and look at them. You can pause if you want to. I'll also pause briefly and not talk. Uh, Take a look at those and try to figure out what the difference is. The only thing you need to make sure you do is where these say H3O plus, that's the same as saying H plus. Okay, and I've got that highlighted here for you. H3O plus is the same as H plus. So take a look at that and try to figure out what the difference is between a strong acid, HCl, and a weak acid, HCN. So hopefully you paused right there and took a look at the two substances in these beakers here. If you didn't take a second to pause, do that and try to do that now. And I hope that what you were able to see is that in the strong acid we had only H3O plus and Cl minus, right? We didn't have anything where we had HCl together in one. Those were non-existent in the strong acid solution here. Okay. But if we look at HCN, which is a weak acid, we can see that we have the H3O pluses or the H pluses, and we have our Cn minuses here, right? Which we can compare to the Cl minus over here. But we also have HCN. And so the difference between a strong acid and a weak acid is that a strong acid will 100% dissociate in water, right? It will fully dissociate in water as far as we're concerned. And a weak acid will not, right? It goes into some sort of equilibrium with itself in water where we'll have the equilibrium between the acid and the H plus ions and the negative ions from that acid. Okay, so that's the difference. Strong dissolves fully, and weak do not. And this is the same for bases, right? So bases would, if they're strong, dissolve fully in water, and weak bases do not.